Welcome to Verse Breakdown. My name is Ewaenruwa Nomaren, and the verse for today is Proverbs chapter 18, verse 10, which reads, "The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe." The name of the Lord in this text refers to the wisdom of God, which the apostles were said to have in Revelation chapter 14, verse 1, which reads, "And they looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads." It was in their heads. The wisdom of God was in their heads, and that's what made them able to dispense the message in fulfillment of Matthew chapter 24, verse 14. King Solomon was saying that the name of the Lord is reliable. It's trustworthy. When we fall back on it, when we rely on it, it will kind of have our back, and it'll allow us to live more safe lives. We won't fall into traps that people who don't know about God and His will fall into. And I'm just going to list some things that people go through from time to time in their lives that when we have the wisdom of God, we are safe from such things. One of such things is marrying the wrong person. Everyone's talking about, oh, I didn't find the right person, oh, I married too early or too late or whatever. But when we have the wisdom of God, we're not looking at how much money the person has, how beautiful or handsome they might be. No, it's about how fertile are their hearts spiritually. How can God fit with them? Because that's how we will live peaceful marital lives. Then it'll help us choose good friends. Many people, they fall into the wrong relationships with people, and next thing you know, it's rather they're in jail or whatever, or they lose somebody important. But when we have the wisdom of God, once again, we'll know who should be our bosom friends and who should just be acquaintances that we can say hi to but don't really come close to our lives. Then if we're parents, we'll know how to raise good children. It's becoming increasingly difficult to do so because of how the world is changing. But King Solomon told us in Proverbs chapter 29, verse 17, that if we use wisdom to raise our children, then there will be a blessing to us in the end. He said, "Correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest. Yea, he shall give delight unto thy soul." Then it will keep us safe from Satan the devil. St. Paul said in 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11, that himself and people like him were not ignorant of Satan the devil's devices. No, they knew who Satan the devil was. They knew that he was an impersonator of God's things. If we read 2 Corinthians chapter 11 from verses 13 to 15. So they knew when somebody was in that category. That was why when Elymas, the sorcerer, wanted to prevent him from preaching to Sergius Paul, as he knew that that was Satan the devil, and then he cursed him in Acts chapter 13 from verses 1 to 12. That is how you keep yourself away from Satan the devil, because you have the wisdom of God. Then it will keep us safe from God's judgment too. The Bible makes us know that this is not a time when God is just so kind and merciful. No, it's almost like he's coming after his enemies now, because you can see that certain strongholds that used to be in the world are falling in fulfillment of NAHUM chapter 1 verse 2 and many other places. That's why the author of Hebrews said in Hebrews chapter 10 verse 31 that it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. But if we have the wisdom of God, then we will be guiltless before him, like the apostles described in Revelation chapter 14 verse 5, which reads, "And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God." Then we'll be able to see the future. People like Daniel and Jesus Christ, because they knew the future, they didn't make certain decisions. Like when Daniel, for example, because he knew the future, he wouldn't believe in what Nebuchadnezzar was doing. Or how Jesus Christ, for example, didn't fall into the hands of Satan the devil when he offered him kingdoms and all that, because he knew that he himself would rule a kingdom, not physical, if we read John chapter 18 verse 36, that would take over all the kingdoms that Satan the devil was offering him, in fulfillment of Daniel chapter 2 verse 44, chapter 7 and verses 13 and 14, Luke chapter 1 and verses 32 and 33, and Isaiah chapter 32 verse 1, and many other places all over the scriptures. And honestly, the list just goes on and on and on. In fact, if we're talking to people, if we're preaching in a congregation, when we have the wisdom of God in full, then no one can dispute what we're saying, because we know the entire Bible. Jesus said in Luke chapter 21, verse 15, "For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist." Therefore, we should have the wisdom of God. We should do what King Solomon said in Proverbs chapter 4 and verses 5 and 6, which reads, "Get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee." And that's where I'm going to stop on discussing that verse, Proverbs chapter 18, verse 10, which once again reads, "The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it, and is safe." If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. God bless you.